All right. February 16th. Good morning, ladies. So I had a couple things I wanted to chit chat about this morning. First, I want to dive into just accomplishments and victories for the week. And then cover the health bet group and talk a little bit about that. And then simplifying our Beachbody business. And I did this little sample training with this Bob Heilig guy this week, who I love, and I've paid for a membership to his Leadership Academy in the past. And the scatterbrained mess that I am, I didn't utilize it as I should have. However, I did steal some really good nuggets from him. And this week, he did a really great training, and I dove into it quite a bit. And I've got a week that I have access to it. So I'm going to go back through and bring some more to the table next week. But a lot of really good stuff on business growth and simplicity. And I just wanted to share a couple of those thoughts today too. So real quick, does anybody have anything they want to share from this past week? Any victories, any excitement, any challenges, anything like that?
Okay, so I didn't really do a whole lot this week at all in working out or in business because this week has been so draining. But I have a solid group of 5 or 6 challengers who are posting daily. Say hi.
Hi, Henry.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Who are posting daily and making it happen, and I'm really thankful that they're there and that they're still doing what they said they were going to do, even though I really didn't this week. So I got to figure out how to get myself back on track for next week when I feel a little less drained, a little less exhausted, hopefully. But yeah, so my challengers are rocking Transform 20.
Awesome.
Even though I'm not.
Do you have a lot of people that will finish like on schedule?
I have 4 who should be on schedule, and then I have a couple who are, like a few days behind. But yeah, it's happening. It's good. They're doing a good job. I mean, yeah, it's been fun.
That's a really good feeling. And seeing people complete a program is a really good feeling, and seeing people get results from completing a program is a really good feeling. That's really cool. I know that this was supposed to be one of the biggest, and it was one of the biggest program launches we've ever had. And I personally didn't have as many people interested as I did with 80-Day Obsession or Lift 4. It was kind of like a shift shop for me, like it was like, meh, try it, like, and I think, just in the last week, I've been a little bit tighter with my nutrition, and I'm seeing changes, and I think I'm going to have some pretty good results to share. So maybe that will be a motivator for the next 2 weeks of this month but I was listening to a call the other day, and they were talking about how Transform 20 launched, and everybody talked about it, and then everybody stopped talking about it once it launched. And that could be why, and I know we're still posting in our stories about it and, doing workouts and stuff like that. Those of us that are doing the program. But I mean, with 80-Day Obsession, I was totally I was obsessed. Like I was literally talking about it every day and talking about the nutrition and stuff. And this, I'm just like here and there, I post stories of my workouts and whatnot, but, and maybe that's probably why I haven't seen a ton of people coming back and saying, dude, tell me more, because I had people joining 80-Day Obsession. I did a second launch group, a month in for all the new people I had that had wanted to join after that first month. So, I know the challenge packs are on promo for the rest of this month. That would be, a good program to start people with for the health bet. group to give them a good 4-week jump start. And especially going into summer coming up, people, there's snow on the ground outside and it's 20 degrees. But I feel like a hypocrite saying that, but like people are going to start thinking about, I know I am, we have the cruise, in 6 weeks, and not that I
really think that Transform 20 is an accessible beginner workout. I can't decide. I have a couple of the people who started it who have completely fallen off the wagon because it's too hard and too intense. But then there are other people, don't turn the sound on that thing, please. There are other people who are beginners who love it and have found a happy place for it. I can't decide whether I think it's super beginner friendly or not, because I feel like I always recommend 21 Day Fix or T25 or something. And I can't decide if Transform 20 is appropriate for a newbie.
I think it can be, as long as they completely follow the modifier, and go into the split screen or whatever to follow the modifier for those moves. Because I am 35 years old. I don't have any knee problems, but I've noticed that my knees are a little bit more sore because I'm on a step and because of that additional impact. So I think for anybody who has any kind of physical limitations, I would say maybe you do it without the step for the first round or for the first few weeks and see how you feel. And then if you want to add a step in, we can talk about that, or not, because Luke and I both do it. We didn't get a second step. He does a lot of the stuff off of the step, and we're still both drenched in sweat at the end of the workout. So I think, as long as they have committed to continuing to do the moves despite not having a step, I don't know. I think Coach Tulin did a video yesterday talking about modifying. I saw her, she had popped on live, and I don't always watch, I don't at all watch her live videos, but something had just popped up when I just happened to be on Facebook. So I started to watch her video, and she was like, why do we dumb down the modifier? Why do we tell people to go to the modifier? Why are we not telling people to challenge themselves? She's like, I know that for me, she's having been the modifier in a program before, sometimes I feel like I could do more, yet I'm allowing myself to, the easy way out by doing the modifier. And who was it that says try before you modify? Was it Joel? I can't remember who.
I think so. Yeah.
So, and I tell people that in my insanity class, try before you modify, because if you're letting yourself do the easy moves and you don't feel like you're challenged, then you're not going to get the results that you want to get. So, I have the conversations that I've been having with people privately, asking them how they're doing with their results and things like that. I'm like, do you really feel like you're challenging yourself during your workout? And if you don't, well, then you need to step it up, and don't be afraid to challenge yourself and get a little sweaty, because you should be getting sweaty during your workouts. I don't want you burning 75 calories and calling it a day. You need a 200 to 500 calorie burn. So I think, the modifier is great for maybe for people who've never worked out before, they have physical limitations, but these programs are not supposed to be, mama's thigh master from 1986.
Yep. Okay. Sorry. Total sidetrack.
No, you know me, I'm squirrel all the time. So, Transform 20, good stuff with Transform 20. I'm going to talk about it. I'll probably do another push after I have results to share, I'll do another series of Insta stories, invite, and include that in my March group. I've seen a couple coaches that are launching a group in March that are using the countdown feature in their Insta stories. And I think that's something that we can implement. I just did a series of super, super simple Insta stories last night for the Health Bet group. I'm going to write a blog this weekend about it. And then I'll put that in a Google Doc and share that with everyone too, my blog post. So that way, if you want to use anything from that, create a Google Doc of your own and share that if anybody has interest. We can do that. Carolyn, I know you're working. Do you have anything that you want to share from Carolyn? Carolyn, you've been a coach for like 3 years, maybe almost.
Yeah, coach.
And that discount coach, and then just dove in kind of this week and the last week and a half, 2 weeks to really start coaching, and just sent her first share cart the other day. Woo woo. And yeah, and you've just been rocking out your posts this week and had some interest and stuff.
Yeah, just getting my feet wet with posting on Instagram. I'm not really an Instagram expert right now. I'm not really familiar with how stories work and videos. Like this week I posted a video working out and cut my head off. So so yeah, just my goal this week was to post at least once a day, just sharing my own experiences on eating and working out. And so my next goal is to kind of make a checklist of things I need to set up, like a Facebook page, Linktree, Google Forms.
Yeah.
So right now I'm just kind of feeling it out, social media, gain a few followers. So
it's always exciting.
Yeah. So my husband is not an Insta story person at all, and he's been doing major cooking in the last week or so. So he's been documenting his cooking, and he's like, making these stories is hard. Like, this is a pain in the neck. And I was like, yeah, now you appreciate people's Instagram content a little bit, Buster. It takes a little getting used to.
I would say I spent like an hour trying to figure out what to post. And then editing the video to like only like a 15-second, 20-second clip, and thinking about the content. It took a lot longer than I thought it was going to.
Yeah.
I think I'll have to share that this week in the emails. I have like an Insta story, like for beginners kind of thing, that will probably be helpful. And I usually just prop my phone up and hit like the hands free, and it'll count down 3, 2, 1, and I just record. And it records like up to 6 to 8 stories, I think. And then I just go in and delete the ones that I don't want to use, and then post the other ones. And I use the filters on there, like you swipe left to right to use different filters and stuff. And I try to just use the same filter every time to keep it consistent. Mm-hmm. And some of those little features in there and stuff are nice too. So yeah, I'll find a video to share with you. I haven't had a lot of victories this week, to be honest. I have been with a sick kid a couple days, and then only a 4-day school week for the kiddos, and then an early dismissal day. It has just been a week of craziness. And then Luke's been in and out of the house. And so my goal is to catch up this weekend. I posted a stock transformation the other night of that Heather girl that had popped up on the Beachbody blog. And I had like 87 likes on it. And I never get a ton of traction on that stuff. And I was like, oh, okay, well, here's what I'm going to do. And I wrote not to like toot my own horn, but I wrote a pretty good little bit of text with it, talking about like, if, somebody had said you can't get results in 21 days, or those 21-day programs don't work. And I led with that. And I think that drew a lot of people in to read it. And I talked a lot about how you're not supposed to just work out for 21 days and then quit. And so I wrote down a whole bunch of names, and I've been kind of slowly messaging them this week. But my goal is to catch up this weekend now that I have a group to invite to. So that's obviously a big thing that we talk about, is having somewhere to invite people to, because it doesn't really give them any motivation to join if they don't really have anything to join. So kicking off March 1st with the health bet is the intention. And they have March 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. They will have to submit their before pictures and measurements and weight. I do have a Google document that spells out the details that I have done in the past, where we've done a buy-in and we do percentage of weight loss gets the most of the pot. So it's not a like, oh, I lost 20 pounds, but it has to be a percentage of your weight. So that way it's a fair assessment. And we'll do a best overall health transformation with, they'll get some little gift bag or whatever. So what I've done in the past for a health bet is everybody has a buy-in. And we've always usually done a $20 buy-in, and they, already have on demand. They already use Shakeology. If they are brand new, or purchasing a challenge pack brand new, then I usually do their buy-in for them if they're purchasing it for the group. Or, I'll say, oh, because you're a brand new, it's only going to be a $10 buy-in or whatever. If they've never ordered a challenge pack, they're not using Shakeology, they're not using any performance line, they're only using BOD, then we've done a $50 buy-in, which seems a little steep, but it also gives them the opportunity to say, okay, you know what, I'm going to try Shakeology then for the month. And then if they're buying Shakeology HD for the month, then I'm going to waive their buy-in or whatever. So, and then same thing if they sign up like as a new coach or whatever. And then I've done some follow-up messages in here, brand new interest. And there's, just keeping it super simple. I am going to add a little bit more to this document as I go. Some posts that I've done talking about the health bet group. I just did one with the Hearts last night, which was, it was late. It was 10 o'clock on a Friday night. So I just wanted to throw it out there and see if I got anything back. And I've had a few people, some are my regulars and some are new faces. So I'm going to reach out to those people this weekend as well and kind of give them some information and just let them know. So what we would ideally do is, let me pull up the calendar real quick. And granted, it's Team Cup month. So we're pushing for, business rank advancement and seeing how many people we can help get started this month. And February's been kind of a slow month. People start something in January, they kind of get in a groove, and anywhere from 3 to 6 weeks before they just stop doing what they're doing. They stop going to the gym or they fall out of their routine. And then it kind of picks back up in March, like I said, with summer coming up, hopefully, that, okay, and now I need to get my butt in gear. I've got 8 weeks until I go to the beach or spring break or whatever it is. So I want to build some confidence and feel good. So usually that's when I start to, February has always been kind of a slow month for me and what I've historically seen. March tends to pick back up with basketball season. I've done March Madness groups and stuff in the past, and they've done really well. I'm not saying anybody has to do a health bet group. This is what I'm doing, and I'm going to give you all the tools to do it. And what we've done in the past as a team is we've ran it all together. So that way it increases the size of the pot. And it's not just going to be anybody can be in it type of group. You have to physically commit. We're going to do a weekly check-in weigh-in on Sunday. We're going to do a live call every week. And then we would start March 4th, full force. The last day people can get in is going to be Sunday, March 3rd. We'll do some last call posts and stuff like that. But they're going to have to take a before picture, measurements. We've always had them hold an index card with a word over the scale. So that way you can see, they're not taking some stock photo off the internet and cheating. And I hate to say that, but sometimes I think the pot last time we had $800 total and the winner took home $500 or whatever. So
yeah, when there's money involved, we can't play.
Exactly. And you can't mess around because people are real committed.
Yeah.
So they are going to have to be active in the group. They obviously are going to have a Facebook account because we're going to run it as a Facebook group. sorry, Instagrammers, like it's always worked best that way. And to do live videos in there and stuff like that, that's just how we're doing it. And then Sunday, March 31st will be their way out. So they'll have the weigh in that weekend of the 3rd and then the way out. And they'll do pictures, measurements, and we'll do most percentage of weight loss. And then did we do it on the app? Most logged workouts in Shakeology. I think we've done one on the app in the past. And it just wasn't as engaging. Best overall health transformation. So anybody that wants to share their transformation for the group, what I've done is everybody votes on it, or you go in and like, the post, and whoever gets the most likes or whatever. And then the coaches will also kind of come together and vote. And then we'll just do Target gift card or Starbucks gift card or a workout tank and some Energize or something like that.
My ADD kicked in. Did you say that you're going to run this group on Facebook or you're going to do it on the app?
Yeah, I'm going to do it on Facebook.
Okay, just checking.
I think overall it's just easier to do it on Facebook. And with live videos and, motivating and stuff like that. And then we can put in there files and photo albums and stuff like that too. So that is the plan for the Health Bet. I'm going to continue to tease it this weekend and the next couple weekends, probably do some transformation posts, probably refer back to some Health Bet stuff in the past. And I'm actually going to change my like page cover to make a March, health bet group. And I'm probably going to change my personal Facebook page cover to reflect that too. And then I'm also going to do a link tree on my Instagram and link it to my blog post. But obviously those of you that don't do blog posts or don't have a blog or anything like that, don't feel like you have to. So that is a little bit about the Health Bet. Anybody have any questions? You can drop them in the call link to this call. I'll post the recording too, and then we can kind of just wing it and go from there.
I'm excited. I'm doing it.
It's fun, and I love doing it as a team. I just feel like you never know who wants to, you'll advertise it in your challenge group, and I've always had 10 people that I'm like, oh, I didn't even know you're still in here. You've never posted anything. They're like, oh, I'm tell me what I need to do. And a lot of times, I'm not trying to sound like a salesy person, but a lot of times it gets people motivated to get back on Shakeology or to recommit to a program or, to recommit to their nutrition. And I'm like, it's technically 30 days, it's a month, it's 4 weeks of workouts, commit to it and see what happens. You might not lose 30 pounds, but you might lose the last 10 that you've been trying to lose. So, it's a good jump start. And being March, we have St. Patty's Day in there, that may be a little bit of
March Madness.
But it's not like we have, it's not like we have Super Bowl and New Year's Eve and a holiday and a reason to bake and Valentine's candy and stuff like that. That shit should be gone by now. So anyway, Health Bet. All right. Awesome. Okay. What else was I going to talk about? Let me go back to the team page. Self-love month. I've had 4 or 5 2-week free trials this month that people have been interested and then not financially ready to commit. So I have set them up with a free trial. And I just had a girl who started her free trial, and she just messaged me this morning. She's like, hey, tell me about signing up as a discount coach. So I think, when you give them the opportunity to try something out, that tends to come back in our favor and their favor, because they actually find out that it's not some cheesy, dumb home workout program, that there's actually legit programs that kick your butt and you get really good results. So I have been going back to that. and giving people the time to kind of think it over. And I think, we've done some posts in the past, like, hey, I have 10 free trials to give out, who's interested? And people are interested, and then you can give them the chance to try it out. So that would be something to maybe post about this weekend, and that would give people the chance to try out workouts in time for the health bet, or at least give somebody a chance to try out a week of workouts or do clean week or something like that, just to kind of get them in the mood for jumping into a group and accountability. So I usually do a free group here and there, and I haven't done one in a while. I'm obviously not going to do one this month, and I'm not going to do one next month with the health bet and the cruise that we have. So if that's something that you are interested in doing and you need help with a free group or an idea, or maybe you want to do something on self-love or whatever, I've done weekend crock pot type groups and recipe groups and clean eating and stuff. And it's hit or miss. You know what? You never really know. But if there's something that you're really passionate about, and you want to put a free group together, you definitely can. One thing that we talked about in this training that I just did this last week was giving back, and how your market is like a bank, and you cannot go to the teller and get mad that you want to make a deposit or that you want to make a withdrawal if you've never deposited anything. So that kind of applies to the people on their social media. If you've never given anybody some kind of something, whether it's their own personal fitness inspiration by looking at your Facebook page, or you've maybe complimented them on something that they've posted, or you've encouraged them on something, or you've shared a recipe with them, or whatever it is, it's hard to expect people to commit to something if that trust hasn't been built. So sometimes free groups are really great for that, because it gives people a glimpse into what you do. Sometimes offering a sneak peek into a challenge group, or saying, hey, yeah, I can add you for a week and you can try out these workouts and tell me what you think. And then we can make a decision next weekend. Sometimes that makes a really, really big difference. And it allows people to build that trust with you and say, you know what, I don't know about this Beachbody stuff, but maybe I'll try it for a week and see. And then it's exactly everything that they needed. And that's how I was when I signed up. I was like, I don't do home workouts. I'm not down for this, but I'll give it a shot and see what happens. And here we are. So, so I think about that. And he was asking us this week, are you genuinely a giver, or are you genuinely a taker? And if you expect, anybody that messages you and says, hey, I'm interested, you're like, oh my gosh, awesome. Here you go. Here's the link to sign up. Here you go. Boom. Okay, let's do this. And then they don't, then, we're not building any kind of relationship. But when you show that you're interested and you share your experience, and then, give them some insight as to what might be a solution for them, and that you have vested interest in their, in their life and their habits and stuff, that's usually when it comes back around. He also talked about, as a new coach, that your warm market is going to be your primary source of business building initially. And it's really, really challenging to start out with only wanting to approach cold market people. And I can agree. My first several months, my first couple years, I think, were mostly people that I knew, or my 400 to 500 friends list on Facebook. And within the last 2 years, probably 80% of my challenge groups are people that I've never met in person and have a very little connection to, besides having a mutual friend on Facebook or something like that. But when you're consistent with sharing what you're doing, that's when people follow, they see, then they know to reach out to you, because they know that you're consistent, because you're doing something consistently to help them. So let me see. I wanted to talk quickly about simplifying your business. And he had talked about this week how we tend to overcomplicate conversations with people because we want them to go perfectly and smoothly, and we have this vision in our head that like, okay, she's going to ask me about this, and then I'm going to ask her about this, and then she's going to ask me about this, and then I'm going to ask her about this, and then we're going to talk about this, and then maybe we'll talk about her kids, and then her life and her work, and and it goes back and forth. And he said, you know, we're a lot of people, and he's a like a network marketing like guru. He's wonderful. I've done several of his stuff, challenges and things like that before, and trainings, and he's super helpful. He has this legacy leadership, and he has a podcast. Your Virtual Upline is his podcast, and there's a lot of really good, helpful tools in there. But he said, you know, somebody reaches out to you and they say like, girl, I saw your post about your group. I'm really interested. Tell me a little bit more about what you do. Or they reach out to you and they say, oh my gosh, I've got to lose 50 pounds. I am so miserable and I need help, and please tell me whatever it is I can do. He's like, instead of saying, oh, how's the weather? How have you been? Like that, he goes, you can assume that they are ready to join you, and you can say, awesome. Like, you sound like you're ready to do this. Let's do it. This is what I do. This is what works for my people. This is how we do it. Let's go. You're going to love this. And he said, you know, the more that you talk too much, the more that you allow yourself or the person to be talked out of the opportunity. And so I really love that he dove into that, because he said so many people talk themselves out of joining you because you've allowed them to like think it over too long, you know? So when you come to them with the same excitement that they come to you with, then that's when, you know, you just go all in. So I have a few more things that I want to go through from his stuff, and I'll share them on the call next week, but that was kind of a big one. And as far as like simplifying our business goes, you know, I do think that we tend to overcomplicate things, and, you know, here we are starting another group, but I think obviously having something for people to join is so very important. And I love having a community. I love having an ongoing group. Like my current self-love group has been my 80-day obsession group, has been my Lift 4 group, has been my 2018 long-term accountability group, started out as my January group. And I'm going to, after this month is over, I'm going to go back to that being my 2019 health and fitness community. Yes, I'll have a separate group for the health bet, but I think that is like the way that a lot of coaches are going, is having a community of support. And that's where we tend to build coaches from, because you see the ones that like rise and shine in there and are, you know, helping, encouraging other people, sharing their stories, sharing their selfies, doing things like that, and building those relationships. And that's, the community is a good spot to not only bring people to, maybe they're doing a free trial, maybe you're adding them into your community and kind of seeing the vibe. Maybe you've talked to somebody on Instagram and they're like, yeah, I just really need accountability. And maybe they're going to the gym. Maybe they're not using Beachbody supplements, but maybe you want to give them the opportunity to try something new, and giving them that community. So I think a lot of my conversations have gone in that direction, that, well, I have this really great community. If you ever, you know, want some support, community, women, strong, empowering, you know, things like that. And people usually jump at the chance to do that. Now, I will also caution you, like, I don't let everybody in. I usually try to make sure they're at least doing a free trial. But if they're like 100% using another company's products and will never switch, and are like hard pressed to never ever try anything Beachbody, I don't want to bring them in, because I just don't feel like, unless you can commit to something and maybe it's a 2-week free trial, then, you know, then hey, we can keep doing the social media inspiration thing. But community is great. The daily habits shouldn't be overcomplicated. I have tried every tracker and thing, I think, under the sun. And I just cannot get away from a notebook and a pen, and this is working for me. So I'm not going to tell you to go outside and try to spend $100 to join some whatever website that's going to track everything for you or reinvent the wheel. Because for me, like, I just can't. I don't have the physical capabilities to be that kind of organized. This works for me. However, if you need the organization and structure, there are tons of things out there, and I can definitely tell you some suggestions that work for other people. But I have found that 3 to 5 new conversations a day, adding people regularly on social media, doing follow-ups consistently, and then personal development. And we know, like, the workout and the Shakeology and stuff, that's a given. But some days it's not me sitting down and reading my book for 20 minutes. It's throwing my AirPods in and I'm running errands, and that's where I get my personal development. Or it's playing a live video as I'm working on my computer and listening to audio in the background. But those conversations are the absolute utmost important when it comes to building steady business. And they don't always turn into everything. I mean, if they did, holy crap, I'd be at SC50 by now. But I'm not. I'm at 2 by an error on Beachbody's part this month. So I'm not gonna let corporate know they made a mistake. But anyway, yeah. I hope they don't listen to this recording. So those conversations are the ones that significantly matter. And it does not mean sending out 25 copy paste, hey, do you want to join my challenge group invites a day? It's completely keeping it simple. Thank you for the love on my post. I appreciate it. How have you been? What's new with you? How's your day? Tell me what you're up to. And a lot of those follow-ups are no pressure follow-ups. Hey, I just wanted to check back with you because I know you had some interest in the past. I'm kicking off a new group. Would love to have you join me. No biggie if you're not interested, but let me know because I'm filling spots this week. Boom, done, super simple. And again, like, I know those of us that have anxiety, we stress about, like, oh man, I don't want to send this message. It's totally gonna, whatever. What if they say no? And it's just a matter of tearing off the Band-Aid and doing it. And the more that we do it, the better we get. And the better we get, the more successful we get. So keeping that consistency, simplifying it in the simplest of terms, and knowing that, like, it's not the end of the world if they say no, because chances are, and the chances are pretty good, if they've had a conversation with you and they've been interested in the past, at some point they will come back and they will maybe be all in or maybe be 50% in, but they're going to come back to you because you've given them that time and you've given them that deposit of positivity in their life. New coach training. I'm doing something new this month with emails, and I'm doing okay with that. Carolyn's like, oh, you probably should be sending more emails, Ashley. She's like, that one email that you sent really didn't do anything for me. But I know how busy we all are, and I never want to overwhelm people. And I think the simplicity is so very important. And I have our self-paced training and our website for a reason, and the new coach checklist for a reason. And I think what we need to instill in our new coaches or those that are interested is that this doesn't have to be this big, crazy, grand, ordeal of coaching. It's, hey, I just post my workout selfies and sometimes, and I talk about things that I do in my life, and I thank people for their support, and I have a group and I invite people to join me. And if they don't want to, no big deal. And I just keep doing my thing. So I think keeping that extremely simple, and I like when I have the conversation with somebody and I say, no big deal. Like, don't feel like you have to join me, but I just thought I'd ask because I know you've been, creeping on my posts for the last month and a half. So anyway, that's all I have for you guys. Short and sweet, kind of today. And I'll post the recording. I'll post some Health Bet stuff this weekend. and we'll kind of just go from there. We'll do kind of a push these next couple weeks to really focus on, you know, oh, and that new Success Club Success Starter thing. So if you've never hit Success Club before, this is an incentive, that you hit Success Club this month. You get a call with Kim Carver and Amy Rada, I think, or Ashley, somebody that was a top 10 coach this last year. I'm not sure who it was. But you get a call with them, and then that gives you month 1 of Success Starters, so that if you hit Success Club, when you hit Success Club in March and April as well, then you get a free ticket to Summit this year. So if you've already purchased a ticket to Summit, they will reimburse you from what I understand, but it has to be February, March, and April. That is plenty of time to help 3 people start off with something. And one of the things that we, you know, talk about in coach training, and that we talked about in this challenge I did with this dude this last week, is that sometimes those first people are like your BFF and your mom or your spouse or whatever it is, because you're already using the products anyway. So something to think about there, that would help you get to that big goal this month. So anybody have anything else?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Where is it? Did I throw it away? So organized. So my quote for the day on my calendar was on Thursday was, action is the most important thing. Actions prove who someone is. Words just prove who they want to be. And I thought that was worth saving, because we can talk about all the things all day, but until we go out and put them into action, we can't expect to see the results and see our business grow. Same thing with like all the people that are like, I want to join your group. Come on, girl, join. And then they're like, I don't want to. Okay, all the talk, but not any action. And same thing with the people that do join, and then they literally never posted in the group, and you've never seen them work out once, and they're like, that Beachbody stuff didn't work for me. Well, because you didn't do the work. So yeah. All right, guys, I'm gonna go chug my coffee and then go pick up my kid. So happy weekend. Carolyn, did you want to say something?
No, just have a good weekend.
All right, gals, thanks for getting on. I'll post the recording in a bit. Bye.
Bye.